So welcome to Bio25. This is your navigation video for the lab manual in winter 2014. We will be delivering almost all of our content, concepts, information, resources, and assessments through this website, so your ability to navigate is critical. So this is about a 5-6 minute video. Let's get started. First, I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that even though this says 9:15 a.m., both sections will be using the same lab manual, the same website. So if when you get here, it doesn't say Bio25 Lab Manual Winter 2014, you might be in a different site. This lab manual has been populated primarily by Dr. Sabate and myself, and even though we've spent a lot of time on it, I'm sure there's plenty of mistakes. And if you find them, please let us know via email, and we'll fix them as soon as we can. All right, so let's navigate. Now, first of all, the very first thing you'll see is how to navigate this website. You're here, so we don't have to do too much there. We have the organization of the course, in which it's been sort of chunked up into 5 different modules. The first module is the one we're going to be working with this week, which is the molecular lab techniques, and we'll spend most of our time there. As you scroll down the rest of the page, you can see that there are tasks for each module, tips and tricks as to be how to successful. In this lab manual are lab sections. Each lab section is given a number. You're going to have to know that. And then office hours. And you can see that the office hours are 5 days a week. We have 8 hours total, and all 4 of us are available. Even though one of us is lecturing at any given time, you can see any one of us to get answers to your questions. All right, so let's go through molecular lab techniques. When we get to the front page for molecular lab techniques, you'll see that there's a purpose for the module, but after that is probably the most important thing you'll see, which is the assignment checklist. And before every lecture, before every lab, and even during lab, it'll tell you what assignments, assessments, homework, readings that you have to do. So before Monday lecture, and hopefully this is before Monday, if not, it is just after lecture, and you're going to be reading and completing the exercises for these 3 sections: liquid handling, molar solutions, and dilutions. Before you come to lab, as Dr. Sabate will point out in lecture on Monday, you need to print out the lab techniques worksheet and complete all of the calculations for that worksheet before you come to lab. Here's the rub. If you are prepared, you might get to leave early, and that's what we're all aiming for. While you're in lab this week, you will turn in the lab techniques worksheet at the end of lab. Before Wednesday, you have another module to read and complete. And before Friday, you have a calculation practice quiz, and there are links to all of those things. So, the rest of the front page you can read: skills, learning objectives, each section, an outline of the lab, and the navigation. So let's go through the section of liquid handling. Learn in the way that is most appropriate for you. And if we go down here to the bottom, there's more text, more pictures, more video. And at the bottom, we have practice problems for liquid handling. So if you've never been in the lab and you've read all of this and you want to make sure that you're doing well, I strongly suggest that you perform the practice problems. Here they are. This will give you a sense of what sorts of things we're looking for. When you're done, you can go to the answer key, or if you're having trouble, you can go back to liquid handling and figure out what you've done wrong. When you finish with any section, we have Apply This Principle quiz. These are quizzes that are graded. They are not timed, but they are required, so we know that you've done the reading. So go ahead and take the quiz. If you've done well, you can move on to the next section, which is molar solutions. If not, go back and review liquid handling. Make sure you know what you're doing. Let's go forward to molecular solutions. It is set up essentially the same way. There's text, there's practice problems, and an Apply This Principle quiz, and then we can navigate back to home. Essentially, that's what you're going to be working through. So when you get back to the home page, these are your 5 major modules. This is your jumping off point for any one of the modules, but you can get to the modules through a variety of different ways. One of them is to actually go to this left nav bar and press modules. And here you'll find not only the pages that are relevant, but you'll also find our PowerPoint slides, any resources that we think are important. This will all sort of be in this modular filing cabinet, if you will. Also on the left nav bar, you can look at all of the quizzes. So if you just want to take quizzes, not interested in reading, just up to you. You can go right to the quizzes that way, and you can see what quizzes are open, what quizzes you're going to be worried about, and the practice quizzes are here as well. You can also go to the assignments page, which will give you a sense of not only the quizzes, but also the worksheets, calculation quizzes, etc. And finally, to give you a sense of the schedule of this class, we have the syllabus, which is shown here. You can see each week the dates, who is teaching, and what they're going to be talking about. And I can't get to the lab section. Let me show you. I guess I'm not getting to the lab section, but here's where the lab section will be. And then here are all of your due dates and assignments. You can also check your grades from the left nav bar, which will tell you how you're doing in the class, which is very helpful. Or you can go to the calendar and find out when your assignments are due. So there's multiple ways for you to interface with this information. I strongly suggest that you spend a good part of your time making sure you understand how to get around this website. And again, if you find typos or misnavigations or even just browser-specific problems, please email us, either Dr. Sabate or myself, so that we can fix those things right away. It's time for you to start molecular lab techniques. Good luck, and we'll see you in class. Hi, welcome to Bio25 Winter 2014. This video is to help you navigate the lab manual. We're using community